and we have got back-to-back episodes of pay-per-views, and boy, is this another completely stacked card for you. Back-to-back days. Might as well give this one some love. If you like it, hit the thumbs up button. If you're new around here, subscribe. Because 2 days in a row, I've given you a pay-per-view. We kick off the show with the Fiend and Alexa Bliss doing a Firefly Funhouse opening to the pay-per-view. They're opening up and they're discussing the match later tonight. Warning that just because they want something to stay in the ring doesn't mean it's necessarily going to. That's their tease. And then we kick things off with the opening match of the night. Sees Robert Roode versus Kofi Kingston. And Robert Roode wins. Robert Roode locks in the arm trap crossface and gets the victory for his team. Well, for him, not his team. He's not on a team. My mistake. But yeah, so Robert Roode picks up the win. That's an 83 rating. Robert Roode gets an 86. Kingston a 90. Woods, I'm not removing him from Kofi yet. He will be removed eventually. But I want there to be a storyline reason for it, not just him just disappear. Okay. We then get an interview backstage with the Motor City Machine Guns. And Renee Young. They are talking about how they are confident that they can beat Finn Balor and AJ Styles. Because Finn Balor and AJ Styles have never had to work together. And whenever they have, they've failed. Whereas the Machine Guns have been working together for a decade. Nobody is more experienced in this company as a tag team than them. And that's why they are going to be still your Smackdown Tag Team Champions come the end of the night. It's a 94 rating, good promo, mainly because of the fact that I snuck Styles and Balor in there, because Sabin and Shelley aren't the best promos in the game, so I give them a little boost. We then get introduced to our judges for today's Pure match. Mark Calloway is of course doing the introductions, so he's the adjudicator for this one, as the GM of SmackDown, not Jeff Jarrett, obviously. And the judges are Christian, Lance Storm, Robbie Brookside, Tyson Kidd, and Sonjay Dutt. You know, it's quite fun actually, being able to use these road agents for things other than road agenting. And obviously, well, Christian's still a wrestler, but to be able to use these road agents for actual road agenting, it's fun. It's fun letting them be judges. It gets a 92 for the announcement, and the match itself gets an 83, as in 8 minutes and 24 seconds, Chad Gable defeats Drew Gulak with a submission. Doesn't go the time limit, so the judges were announced, but they weren't actually needed. And it's a good stuff, you know, 83 rated match is good for a pure match. Then cut backstage to Braun Strowman being beaten up by the Unknowns. The Unknown beat up Braun Strowman backstage, laying him out. The four of them work together to make sure that that Elias is on his own tonight. There's no assistance. And he was on his own. And the Unknown defeats Elias in 13:43 with a clean cut. Which is, think like Velveteen Dream's twisting DDT, but not the. It's obviously not Dream. So Unknown defeats Elias with the clean cut. Unknown gets a 77. Elias an 80. That's Unknown's debut. Gets an 81 rating. And then after the match, the Unknowns stand in the ring together and one of the unknowns, I think it's the unknown who just wrestled in the match, just goes, "We are the unknown, and you fear us." I'm deliberately playing on the fear of the unknown here. It's not. This isn't Retribution. I'm making this very clear. This is not Retribution, nor is this a Retribution Mick take. These are pretty much completely different wrestlers as well. And their aim is this. My aim is for this group to become a main event group, and they're not going to be revealed for months. Might even be the other side of WrestleMania before we reveal who they are. So we get a squash match. This was a match we were hyping up so much, and it was a squash. Sonya Deville defeats Mickie James in 4 minutes 22 with a modified Go-Go Plata. Gets a 69 rating. And boy, they have great chemistry, which is annoying now that this is a one-off match. But Mickie James, as shown in the post-match segment, has to retire. Mickie James, as under the stipulation, announces her retirement. There will be a full ceremony on Smackdown for Mickie James. It's a 94 rating though. We're going to get the Intercontinental Championship match, Fatal 4-Way, as Big E retains against the Artist Collective in the Fatal 4-Way. Big E retains after he pins Cesaro with the big ending, and he makes the 4th defense of the Intercontinental Championship. It's a pretty good match. 87 rating is a very good match, actually. Not just a pretty good match, but very good. All of the ratings were good. Cesaro and Zayn getting 80, Nakamura 85, E 90. Pretty good stuff. And after the match, he's celebrating when he is attacked by Robert Roode. Because let's be honest, storyline-wise, of course it's going to be Robert Roode who's next. It just makes sense. Robert Roode, who came back in a feud with Kofi, of course he's going to now go after Big E. Why wouldn't he? Gets a 100 rating though. And Bayley, next up, defending her title against Liv Morgan. She illegally uses the ropes for leverage, but Bayley does get a successful defense to make the 3rd defense of her Smackdown Women's title, which I will be announcing that now. This is where the announcement would be. It's not got a segment because it's not got anyone in it, but this is a segment. This is where I announce that next pay-per-view will be Survivor Series. Survivor Series will be the next pay-per-view, and it will be Raw versus Smackdown. We're not going to completely halt storylines. It's probably going to be considered a B pay-per-view. Nothing important's going to happen on it, but Raw versus Smackdown is going to be the theme. It's going to be, I think, 9 matches I'm going to work on to get a good quality card out. Gets an 82 rating. And then the semi-main event sees in a bout with great wrestling and good heat, AJ Styles and Finn Balor defeat the Motor City Machine Guns when AJ Styles pins Chris Sabin with the Super Styles Clash, and Styles and Balor win the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Yeah, I know a few people didn't expect this, but Styles and Balor are the winners. They are the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. They got on the same page and they worked together to win the titles. They worked well together. And the Superstars Clash of the second rope, pretty good finish if you ask me. Protects Sabin, protects the Machine Guns, because it took a Superstars Clash to beat them. I'd say that's a pretty good stuff. And AJ and Balor hold their titles and they just look at each other and they put their left hands up and they two-sweep in the middle of the ring. They're referencing the club. They two-sweep in the middle of the ring, and they make very clear that they are now completely on the same page. Gets a 100 rating. We then go backstage where Chad Gable and Drew Gulak both are interviewed by Renee Young, and they're thanking each other for a great match, a respectful, pure match. Pretty good stuff, you know, gets a 73 rating. It's just a good promo, just to kind of tie a knot on there. Can you call it a feud? It was barely if it wasn't a feud. And then Alexa Bliss and the Fiend Bray Wyatt defeat Nikki Cross and Sheamus in a cinematic tag team match, when Alexa Bliss pins Sheamus. Yeah, no, that wasn't what I thought it would be, but the match got a 98 rating. Oh my god, I'm going to do more cinematic matches, because Alexa Bliss and the Fiend versus Nikki Cross and Sheamus, I did not expect to reach 98. Holy, that was insane. I did not expect that. And say Spinal, if I'd have taken off the Spinal Impact, that could have been our first 100 rating this early into the save. Well, that was a mind-blowing main event, and the actual main event, but Nikki Cross did get injured, unfortunately. She got a strained pectoralis tendon. I don't know how bad that is. I'll have a look after the card. And it was Alexa Bliss who injured, and she's got a bit of heat on her. But the main event segment sees Alexa Bliss and the Fiend literally bury Sheamus, because, you know, it was a cinematic segment. Why not do something which I can't normally do and bury someone? Well, we can do it. We have done it. They have done it in front of crowds before, buried live matches. But we can make it look a bit better with cinematic stuff. 100 rating. Those last two matches and they did affect that rating. A 96 overall pay-per-view. And I'll be honest, most of that was because of the main event. Alexa Bliss and the Fiend defeating Nikki Cross and Sheamus. 98! Oh my, that is insane. Well, I've been Ben Chapman. That was Vengeance. Oof. Bye.